Welcome to Jeff and Jamion, winning in the margins. Jeff, great to see you today. How are you?
Jamion, man, I'm good. When you come in with a haircut like that, man, I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
As the new year, it's interesting. You get to the new year, and everyone kind of has New Year's resolutions, which I personally don't believe in. But I did say, let me start this year off with a better look than I did last year. So,
fresh shave, everything.
Today we're going to talk about the value of bringing energy and excitement to an organization. And what that really does. Right now we're looking at college football. They're changing coaches every other week. College basketball will be changing coaches every other week. It started March and April. And so you kind of see this, and you see as an organization, you see with new CEOs signing up. So let's talk about bringing excitement to an organization and why it's important.
Yeah. So Jamie, we've talked about organizations, and I've heard a lot of how you come in and conduct and run a team, and I'm excited to talk about that with you, but from bringing more of my perspective today.
Yeah.
When it comes to organization, there's a specific fire that I believe in that resonates a team and takes them from a mid-level to a high level. You can still call them a mid-level, but they're going to be in the hunt every single year. You take a Gonzaga from back in the day. Today, they're known as being in the hunt every year. When they first came about, they were just a mid-level program that just seemed to be there every single year. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've studied Gonzaga's culture, that I know their coach, that I haven't. Gonzaga's not a team I've done that with. But mid-majors can turn into majors with what I believe is bringing the fire. And I can come in believing that I have to revolve around my team, that I have to revolve around the players on my team. But if my team that I'm taking over is 4-16, and we're meant to be 16-4, well, we have to come. There's a different fire that 16-4 has compared to 4-16. There's a different fire that 2-20 has compared to 20-2. And I believe that there's a recipe by studying the likes of your John Woodens, your today's game, Nick Sabans. They just do it a specific way. And oftentimes we're going to say it's the resources they have. And I'm going to say it's the character you demand. It's going to be relative. The resources that you have are going to be relative to the program you're within. But the character is the character is the character. And when I come in and there's a specific culture, if the culture guides to a lukewarm, I'll show up on this day because, and I won't show up on this day because, rather than we're going to run through a brick wall, or this team might not be the one you were meant to be on because your fire is meant to burn. Your well is meant to be filled up. And that means that you're going to give everything you have every day. Does it mean we feel the same way? No, it doesn't. But character, if I'm looking to take an organization and bring excitement to another level, I'm going to go core values with you. I'm going to bring these core values. They're the core values I have with my daughter. They're the core values I live by. They're the core values that have been a part of every organization that we've brought to the high. When I say organization, teams we've been a part of, players that have gone to another level, individuals that came in, whether they thought they were on a high level, the highest level they could be at, or whether they thought they weren't a part and couldn't fit in at all. They are the core values that made the difference. They separated, and we found these in different people and in different experiences throughout our life that were just a game changer. We have found that Coach Jamie, you all right if I just keep going?
Yeah, fire away. I love it. I'm just taking notes over here, so you keep going.
I appreciate it, man. We have found that the champions within their pursuit at the highest level have a set of character traits that are just different. And there might be gaps, right? There's always gaps, and we're looking to fill them. First and foremost, you're going to come in and you're going to be coachable. You are grateful for the opportunity. Eyes are glued in, and we're fully focused on the moment. There is no in between. Now, does that mean there's absolutely no in between? No, but it means we're excited to be reminded. I'm excited to be reminded that I'm grateful for the opportunity, or I'm excited to be reminded that my eyes are meant to be glued in and I'm fully focused on the moment. And that's how we go somewhere. And I want to be a part of a team, selfless. Respect is a necessity. And it's not about how you treat me. It's about what's inside of me. Respect is an absolute necessity. My teammates, they are going to get heck of a jobs. They're going to get, thank you for giving your best. They're going to get, you need to step your game up. Because if I'm serving you believing that I'm looking at a champion, believing I'm partnered with a champion. And so sometimes I need to call you out. Respect is a necessity. And if I'm thinking you're incapable of giving your best, I just disrespected you without you knowing it. A passion to serve and uplift the person next to you is a must. And all of what I just described is under selfless. I'm a team ball player, fully focused to do my role. From there, mental toughness. I'm going to get beat down. My first 3 days of camp, I might have it. It might be a grind, but I might have it. All of a sudden, my legs are getting loaded up. My mind, it's an overload. And I have to remember who I am. I'm a champion. Poised, confidently giving my best, even when most would give in. I can take that and say, hey, I'm poised, but if I don't understand what I mean by that, then how do I conduct myself in a mentally tough capacity? Because mental toughness isn't straining. It's not straining through. There is a piece when you're at your very limit that you're gonna appear to strain through. But in order to get that, we gotta believe, we gotta breathe. Gotta breathe. I have to know how to keep my jaw relaxed, my tongue relaxed, while my body is on fire. And then I got to believe that this champion is capable of continuing to plug through. Take that a step further. I'm going to run in. I'm going to run in to something I'm scared of. I'm going to run into a challenge because you see, on my team and in my way of life, we're meant to do something special, something other people tell us we're incapable of, but we just know we're destined for. It's inevitable because we're coming. Is it in this very season? Well, I'll tell you this, we are going to make some progress. That's a guarantee. We might make progress in getting some people off the team that weren't meant to be there in the first place because their attitude's destroying everybody. That might be where our progress. And now we're developing the game within the folks that are there. But I'm going to run into a challenge. And as a coach, my goodness, do I want the relationships to be easy and, hey, we got a whole bunch of coachable, selfless. But when you're taking over a 2-20 team, there's a problem. There's a dysfunction. There's people not showing up to practice. There's people doing things the day before, the night before that they shouldn't be doing. There's folks that spend all preseason not preseasoning. And we got to preseason if we're on our team. And so as a coach, it's my job to call the character. For me, that's where my hope has to tower above my fear. That's where I have to remember that I am brave. And we call that fearless. We are brave. Our hope towers above our fear. For everything we're afraid of, for every challenge that's hard, I have to remember that I am the champ, that my team is filled with champions. Somebody else might have told them they were mid-major. Somebody else might have told them they were a walk-on. Somebody else might have told them Ray Allen is the one that shoots 1,000 balls before every game. But on my team, that's just what we do. If Ray Allen did it and it worked, that's what we do. And so we're fearless. We take on that challenge. And that challenge is hard, shooting 1,000 balls, being undisciplined for 20 years of my life, 21 years of my life. Well, that's a tall task, right? But we're meant for it. I believe that. And you can unbelieve it, but I can't unbelieve it for you.
Yeah, I love this idea of necessities.
Yeah.
I've got like a ton of notes here. It's like, I know I'll have a team someday. And so when I walk in, I want to say like these are our necessities, what are necessities in life? It's our water, our air, our food that we eat. So I think we naturally understand necessities.
Absolutely.
We naturally kind of say, all right, well, we have to have these things. And if these things aren't well, we're not going to be as good as we can be. I love watching the show Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
Because, I love watching it because it's interesting to see how people respond to their necessities. some people are risky. Someone will say, well, most of them will try to boil the water, and they'll say, all right, we can't get sick of the water. But every now and then someone will get so thirsty, they'll just say, we'll drink from this still pool of water, and they'll just take a chance,
Yeah.
And so I'm always interested to see how people respond to necessities. And so I love that. I love the way that you phrase that. Talking about respect being a necessity. We always say like to get respect, you have to give respect. But if it's a necessity, we should both be bringing it to the table regardless.
100%.
There shouldn't be a give and take with it.
I can't control what kind of respect you have for me.
Yeah.
I can't, but I can control my respect that I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah, and then I like enjoy the notion of being poised in the face of adversity. When I think of that, I think of Keanu Reeves in Matrix, when all the bullets are flying and he's just sort of ducking all the bullets. That's always the kind of team that I wanted to be able to coach. A team that was great when the bullets were flying. I guess I should use another term, but you get what I'm saying in terms of just being able to dodge the adversity with poise. Again, these are necessities that you have to have when you're bringing some energy into an excitement into an organization. So I love all those. I think those are some strong characteristics if you want to change culture quickly and really set a tone.
Absolutely. There's two more values that we finish off with, and then I'd love to talk about those values. How they bring excitement to the organization, and who you have to be pursuing for that excitement to occur.
Yeah.
Finishers, everyday consistency, preparing and competing to the best of our ability from beginning to end. Has to be every day. It can't be when I feel like it. Has to be every day, and it has to be to the best of my ability. And humility, always good enough to give my very best. Let's be specific about what humility means. Always good enough is to give everything I have in that moment, while at the same time, never good enough. Meaning is God's gifted us with this ability to make major progress when I'm taking everything he's given me to the limit.
Yeah.
And so those are the values that encapture that environment. And I believe that any environment can be changed when it's a must. The key word there is believe. To believe is to hope. To hope is to be able to make an endless array of adjustments along the way. And so we won't stop.
To believe is to hope.
I'll give you the full.
I love that.
We've talked about this before. To believe is to hope. To hope is to know, and to know is to know that there's an endless array of adjustments because it's inevitable that we're going where we're going.
Yeah, I really like that. One more time. Give me the full thing.
To believe is to know. To know is to hope, and to hope is to have an endless array of adjustments because it's inevitable that we're going where we're going.
That's so good. I want to put that on my locker room someday.
Let's go, man.
That embodies so much. There's been probably a handful of times I've had teams that were not able to make the adjustments needed to be at their best. And people often think those adjustments are just on the floor.
Yeah.
But before you get to the floor, it's like every action begins with a thought. The thought is what happens before you get to the floor. The action is what you do when you're on the floor. And so really it wasn't about not being able to make the adjustments on the floor in the game. It was about being able to make the adjustments that were needed on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
To be able to have, what was it called? An endless amount of adjustments.
Endless amount of adjustments. They're there for the taking.
That's really excellent. Why do you think those things bring excitement to an organization?
Well, you have to practice them, right? So they can't just be words. They have to be who you are. Who you are on the court is who you are inside. And so if I'm mentally tough, if I'm able to breathe through and continue to go when most people couldn't, when most people couldn't on the basketball court because it was just too fast. They were just too tall. They could just shoot the lights out way better than we could. If I'm going to believe that, that needs to be practiced. Every day we're practicing mental toughness. I'm throwing everything at you. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at you in practice. And at the end of the day, we're learning to breathe. We're learning to believe. We're staying calm. When we're playing 4-on-2 or 3-on-2 at the beginning of the season, it was chaotic. But now I'm starting to see the seams. Now I'm starting to see the opportunities. Now I'm seeing how when 4 people are on me and I don't even have anybody to pass to, how to keep my eyes open, how to keep my jaw relaxed and my tongue relaxed so that there is opportunity. I've got to keep my eyes open to see. And so if we're not creating those opportunities within the practice experience, then when the game comes on, hey, mental toughness is a word on my wall, but it's not within. From the start of the season to the finish, I'm not talking about developing my handles. My handles are inevitable. I have to develop my handles. I'm not talking about developing a chest pass. I'm talking about how to keep those handles going, how to pass that ball when I'm not supposed to beat the team that was in front of me game 7 when I looked on the schedule, but because I don't see what somebody else sees, and instead I now see opportunity, and instead I'm now looking at that team game 7 and I'm asking, what are they doing well? I want to know what they're doing well. How are they doing that? I don't care about watching Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan anymore. I did when I was a kid, and it was the wrong thing to do then. And as a guide, and as a guide that hopefully can connect with teachers and business leaders, when we're looking at Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in a way that says, wow, oh, man, idolatry, we're missing the point. I want game 7. I want the year that Duke's number 1 in the nation. I want to know what they're doing character-wise. I can view that in a game. I can view that in a situation where things got crazy, where they were taking on Carolina, who was number 2 at the time, and coming down and just stifling them. And what do we do coming out of that timeout? How do we act? How do we appear? Well, we make the adjustment. Great teams, they make the adjustments. They don't become that moment. They make the adjustments. They don't wait for the next game to make adjustments. They wait for the next play. And so if I'm watching Michael Jordan, why was he so effective? Well, the first thing I want to ask is, how is he creating separation? And if I understand how he's creating separation, then the next thing I need to know is how did he make these progressions to create this separation? Now I'm finding his footwork. Now I want to find out the opportunity, because the opportunity never came about on game day. It always came about in training. So now I need to understand that he's just training different, that he's seeing different because of what he's doing in training. He's making progress different because he's making progress different when you're not seeing. And so I'm looking at Duke, and I'm looking at the way that they're feeding or their possession play, the way that they're running a fast break. I'm looking at the way that they're calling their play 1 or their play 3 as compared to we're doing it. And hey, are they doing it excited? Heck yeah, number 1 team's doing it excited. They're excited to throw a pick. They're excited to dive for a ball. They're excited to get off the ball. They're excited to create an opportunity for there's an excitement that's just different, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feel that when you walk in. You know, I've now been to probably about 25 or 30 practices through the year, and you can feel that difference.
Yeah.
You know, I actually wrote down something here. It's like, a bad team makes adjustments in practice. An average team makes adjustment at the half. A good team makes adjustments in the timeouts. A great team makes adjustments play by play. You know,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think that's really valuable, you know, to be able to know that. So, Jeff, I appreciate it, man. You're on fire today, and this is a great show. I appreciate you taking the time, and we hope you all check us out again.
Thank you, Jamion. Good day, man.